So, my older sister is 20, and years ago she was in a terrible incident which got her pregnant. I don't want to go into too much detail, nor do I want to expose her too much, because it caused her to be mentally disturbed and was in terrible health. She aborted that child. Now, this is well known in the family because it was a big incident. So, here comes the entitled person in the story. Our Auntie Maddie. Maddie wasn't there when the incident happened. In fact, she joined our family months after it. Maddie is married to our uncle and she always wanted a child of her own. Last year, she did conceive, but unfortunately, it was a miscarriage. Everyone felt sorry for her that year until it was Maddie's birthday. We all celebrated by going to a little house party, but that was when things got really uncomfortable. And mind you, my sister and auntie are the only females who are 20 and above in the family. M. Hey, my sister, I want to ask you something. S. What is it? M. This might be rude to ask. Is it true you were pregnant before? What happened to the baby? I really don't want to say. Please, I want to know something. Sorry, but I feel really uncomfortable with this and don't want to talk about it in any more detail. Please look at me. We're family, and family help each other in their time of need. Only you can help me fulfill my dreams of having a happy family. At this point, Maddie became more crazy and started shaking my sister by the shoulder. My sister claimed it was like talking to a nut job since she wouldn't stop bothering about the whole thing. Please, my sister, I want to adopt your child. I want to have a baby. Some at the party began noticing and pulled Maddie away. My sister felt very uncomfortable around Maddie and decided to leave the party, and I left with her as she filled me in on the details of what happened. This left them feeling uncomfortable and wary around one another for a very long time. In fact, my sister literally avoids her like the plague. Until it was my older brother's birthday a couple of months back. Maddie arrived with Uncle cause, unfortunately, since it was a family celebration, Maddie came along with Uncle. At the party, Maddie seemed like she was calm and chill. She even apologized to my sister for what she did. My sister did forgive her since they were family and she didn't want things to be more uncomfortable. Until it was time to open up the presents. Maddie gave my sister a sorry gift, and when she opened up the present Maddie gave her, inside was a freaking baby outfit with a small handmade card that says, "Will you help me by giving me a child?" There was a huge awkward silence. Like no one could say anything. Maddie looked like there was nothing wrong and asked her in front of other family members. M. Listen, my sister, I really want a child and I beg of you to please give me a child. It doesn't have to be the one you put up for adoption. You can even give me a new one and I'll be completely okay with it. My sister was so pissed that she ran off to her room and locked herself in for the rest of the day. My uncle was furious as well as the rest of the family members as they started swearing at Maddie for doing something so shameless and disgusting. Like, honestly, what is wrong with this woman? Apparently, Uncle told me they can't have kids because he didn't want to tell me the details, and that's what is causing Maddie to go ballistic for my sister to give her a kid. Then Maddie sent a text. You have to give birth to my child. I am desperate. Please give me a kid. Me and Uncle can't be a proper family without one. My sister blocked her before she could send more. A week after, I got a message from Maddie and someone spilled the beans to Maddie that my sister aborted the child. OP, tell your sister this. You are disgusting. You aborted a lovely bundle of life that could have been my kid. If you didn't want the kid, then I could have had them instead. You have the wonderful privilege to have children, and instead of using that privilege, you decided to destroy that vulnerable life that was once inside you. I hope you're happy, murderer. I quickly informed my parents, my sister, and my uncle about the text, and Maddie received a lot of angry calls and messages from a lot of family members. Even the uncle who put his foot down threatened to divorce her if she didn't shut her mouth. He said he was thinking about getting her checked by the doctor because clearly there's something wrong with her. It could be the miscarriage that's causing her to be like this, but not quite sure. Right now, everyone is distancing themselves from Maddie. Me and my sister have already blocked her on everything, and we decided not to get involved her anymore, even if she is family. I understand that desperately wanting a child that you can't have can cause such pain that it can affect one's ability to behave appropriately. However, Maddie sounds so unstable and unaware that I would not want her to give any children I had. When adoption is done to benefit the child, it is normally a good thing. When it is done to fix a broken adult, they're probably expecting too much magic from the adoption. It's possible that the miscarriage and or inability to conceive caused some kind of psychotic break, but whatever the reason, Maddie is completely off her rocker if she thinks any of this behavior is alright. She needs some serious psychotherapy, and if she refuses, your uncle should probably seriously consider making good on that divorce threat. Not trying to be dramatic, but every woman in your family who gets pregnant needs to be very alert and aware that this crazy woman could harm them to get that baby. Her behavior towards your sister is scary. Hopefully nothing would escalate like that. However, I believe she will try to be the mother, trying to come over all the time, trying to outparent, stealing all the firsts. Hard boundaries with very strict consequences will have to be put in place to try to control and deal with this level of madness. This has been happening since my cousin became 4, and now since I finally got the courage to say no this year, Aunty Dearest, my dad's sister, is pissed as hell. The only reason I allowed it in the first place was I didn't mind, and also I was young and dumb. Since she was still around 2 to 3 years old, but now my birthday is heavily focused on my cousin, if someone says happy birthday to me, she'll cry and throw a tantrum saying it's her birthday, and Aunt would say it is her birthday. For every single present I have, it needs to be given to her or tantrum, and one hell of a loud ass tantrum too. If Aunt tries to take it, my mom would put a stop to it quickly. For the theme, it needs to be for my cousin's liking only. My cousin and aunt are always like this for everyone's birthday, and my dad's family just thinks it's cute. My mom is always pissed when my siblings' birthdays are taken over by my cousin. Anyway, today I said I want my birthday to be about me only, I don't want my cousin to take it over, and all hell broke loose. Aunt told me every single insult she could call. My uncle, also dad's brother, is pissed too and calling me names. Yet he defends my brothers because men aren't supposed to be bullied by women. Only my youngest aunt, uncle, and grandma are angry at them. Good news is that I get to celebrate my birthday at my mom's side instead, and they booked me a pretty popular restaurant which my aunt is very pissed about, lol. My cousin is around elementary age, I'm around 15 to 18. Also, my uncle, aunt, and dad are siblings. The person who said my dad is horny for his own sister, screw you, you're the one who seems to be messed up in the head if you're assuming stuff, especially when it's incest. My cousin's birthday is somewhere around January and April, while mine is around October and December. The reason for my cousin wanting to take over everyone's birthday is because it started when she wanted to blow the candles on her older brother's birthday, to which it kinda escalated to her wanting to make everyone's birthday be about hers. I witnessed this before with some of my brother's ex's family. I went to a birthday event for my niece, and for some reason there's another kid that was apparently a random cousin. Every time a present was given to my niece, this cousin had to also get a present or he just lost it, and the entire family just rolled with it and gave him gifts. Like most of the stuff the cousin got was random dollar store toys, but just watching the event made me mad. FYI, this was my niece's 7th birthday and this kid was like 4 maybe? To Aunty. Aunty Dearest, neither you nor your brat are welcome to my party. If you do show up, you will be ejected without restraint on our part. To anyone who sides with her, Aunty and daughter are not welcome at my party for personal reasons. Please do not bring her. You should be worried about the monster your aunt is raising. That your paternal grandma is angry at your aunt should say a good deal. So basically, this young cousin has been allowed to believe that everyone's birthday is also her birthday and that she's entitled to getting all the presents? I can't see how that's going to end badly for her. /serious. Your aunt and family are raising a little monster who is not going to deal well with the reality check she'll get when she tries this kind of nonsense with the world at large. She's not special, and she's not actually entitled to what other people have. The fact that your aunt is encouraging this tells me she's greedy AF, and I can't believe so many other family members are going along with it. Birthdays are less of a big deal when you get older, but it's still gross that this child has been allowed to become this greedy. Me, EL entitled lady, SOL sweet old lady, CW co-worker, Mary the woman I considered my third grandmother. Growing up, I struggled a lot with maths. I just couldn't make it work, and as a result, I was often called stupid, useless, and the infamous R word by my tutors, and often locked in a room by myself during math class so they didn't have to deal with me from 1st to 10th grade. This obviously had a negative effect on me. Hearing that word instantly throws me back to these horrible years and how I was treated. I was diagnosed with dyscalculia or math dyslexia when I was 24 years old. I'm 27 now. This incident happened in December. For some context, the lady that called me the R word had been a regular customer for a long time. Long before I even started working at the store 3 years ago, but it was only about 2 years ago that she started to treat me the way that she did. She was always a bit grumpy and rude, but nothing unusual. About 2 years ago, I was falsely accused of stealing money from our elderly neighbor by her relatives, which turned out to be a lie. The elderly lady, let's call her Mary, who passed away, was an old family friend of ours, in a way like a third grandmother to me, as she was a close friend of my maternal grandmother, and she celebrated birthdays and Christmases with us. She had simply lent a small sum of money to me so I could pay off some debts, and by the time these accusations began to make its way around town, I had paid back the amount. I have a whole list of other stories about her deadbeat entitled relatives, but that is for another time. But EL is one of those who judges you despite having all the facts. She decided to go from disliking me to absolutely hating me in the matter of a day. One day after these rumors began to spread, she began to become extremely agitated. If I asked her if she wanted a receipt, roll her eyes and snap, "Of course, I'm a regular here and you know I always want my receipt when it comes to the likes of you." I knew that, however, it's store policy to ask if they want a receipt, as it is on all stores. She has also cussed me out for being too kind with the child, which had gone into the pick and mix and taken some candy, and proceeded to cuss out the mother, telling her, "We're in the middle of a pandemic, but I guess you wouldn't know that wherever you're from." The mother was a woman of color, not that it matters, but it seemed clear to me that she said it with racist intent, and reported me to the boss for not taking it seriously enough. I did take it seriously. I talked to the mother, who then told her son why that was not an okay thing to do, and I shut down the pick and mix to clean it out and sanitize it. She would also not acknowledge me at all, even if I said hello to her at the store, keeping her head down and avoiding the area I was in at the store. Not that it bothered me that much. In fact, I found it a bit amusing that my mere existence would trigger someone so bad for no legitimate reason whatsoever. Until this December. December is a busy month for our little grocery store, the only one out of 2 in our town, and of course it was a hectic day with a lot of customers. I had already been at work for a few hours when she came through to the checkout. I process her groceries, and at the end of the transaction I ask her if she wants the receipt. This is how it went down. Me: "Would you like the receipt, ma'am?" EL looks me dead in the eye. "I have a question for you." "Yes, ma'am." "Are you dense or are you completely R-word?" I was actually so stunned, I just stared at her for a moment before I could react. This sweet old lady snapped at her. Sweet old lady: "What kind of a language is that? How dare you? I am a regular at this store. She should remember who I am and my needs. It doesn't matter if you're a regular, it's her job to ask. It's not her job to be spoken to like that. I don't trust her. She stole money from Mary." I knew Mary and I know her. Mary was like a third grandmother to her. She wouldn't dream of doing something like that to her. Shame on you. By now, I was on the verge of tears, and I excused myself as I called for my coworker, leaving the checkout to go hide in the break room, where I instantly broke down in tears. 15 or so minutes later, my manager comes into the break room. I tell her my side of the story and how she has behaved in general towards me. She then tells me to take the day off to calm down and talk to my therapist And she would find someone to cover my shift. She knows my history and she was actually the one who suggested I get tested for dyscalculia when I started working for her. And to not worry about EL. It was my last shift of the year, so I didn't hear what happened until I came into work a few days ago. I was told that she had been banned from the store. The sweet old lady plus a bunch of other witnesses in the line had testified to my manager about her outburst and were outraged. This allowed her to go to higher ranks to have the woman banned indefinitely. The other grocery store up the street from us caught wind of the incident and decided to ban her as well. Apparently, I wasn't the only store clerk who she had terrorized. She now has to drive for over an hour to get to a grocery store. I feel for you so much. OP, I wasn't diagnosed with dyscalculia until I was nearly in my 30s. I'm currently 69, but I struggled with math starting in 3rd grade when we were learning multiplication. I was called lazy, stupid, and a whole host of other demeaning names by my teachers and students clear up through high school. My mom hired a tutor, but it did no good. If a high school teacher hadn't given me a pity pass grade in algebra, I wouldn't have gotten my diploma. She saw that I was actually trying and wasn't slacking off. When you call someone with an undiagnosed learning disorder demeaning names and repeatedly tell them they are lazy and aren't trying hard enough, that person starts to believe it and often gives up trying. It was an actual relief to be diagnosed with dyscalculia because I was finally able to know that it wasn't my fault I struggled so much with maths. Wow, what a nasty POS. I am so glad she got banned from your shop and the other one. She has the audacity to call you the R word when you clearly are a very intelligent person who has been treated unfairly by the teachers. I am so glad all these wonderful people were supportive of you. I know what it's like to be judged by people. I myself struggled at school. I was unable to focus on any of my subjects. I was an adult woman before I was diagnosed with ADHD, and after being medicated by my specialist, I find life a whole lot better. Take care of yourself.